Don't plan the parade just yet, though. What's going on, sports fans, hockey fans, Leaf fans? I see you. How's everyone feeling this morning? I know all of y'all are feeling great. Don't plan the parade just yet, though. That's what a lot of Leaf fans want to try and do. Although I think a lot of us have been through the ringer this last 9 or so seasons, and obviously since 67 if you were born all the way back then. But things have started off great, obviously, against Florida. I think a lot of the stuff that I discussed in my last video, if you didn't watch it, please watch it. It was a lucky guess. Obviously, the Leafs really have controlled the first 2 games, I would say. Obviously, Florida's had their time, but I think Craig Berube has unlocked a lot of what has ailed this team for the last 9 seasons, to be honest. He had Florida, all of them looking around for retribution yesterday. Sam Bennett looked kind of off his game. I would say so did Tkachuk. Obviously, Barkov had a good game. That third line, the Marchand line with Listerainen and Lundell, I think it is, have been playing well. Marchand, obviously, when it comes time to the playoffs and the Leafs, he just unlocks a different level, so I can't be too angry at that. But what it really looks like to me is that the first line and the fourth line have become lockdown lines, at least for this series, and Berube is really challenging Maurice to make it a battle of the second and third lines. And when it comes to Willie Nylander, what he's doing, JT's been playing well too. Max Domi and Max Pacioretty have been, honestly, they've been unreal in the playoffs, if you ask me. Maybe you look at the production, maybe you're one of those fans that looks at that and numbers, but the way they've played, the way they've been playing physically against the second and third lines, I think that's what it comes down to. And then Austin Matthews, everyone's worried about his scoring, but I think what Berube has really implanted in Austin Matthews' head is take a look at what Sasha Barkov does. And if he can do that and add his scoring ability to that, I think, we don't want to look forward to next season. There's obviously this playoffs have to play themselves out, but if you're one of those fans who's just looking for Austin Matthews scoring, I would say wait till next season, or maybe it's going to be later in the playoffs. But he's really, Barkov had his moment on the power play within 5 seconds, couldn't really do much about that. But when you think about the face-offs, you think about the defensive hockey they're playing, the counters, kind of not just folding when things are going bad. I think that's what really stands out to me when you talk about Austin Matthews and how he's leading this team. Just a totally different mindset that they have going on right now. And yeah, I really do believe that the first and fourth lines are doing a great job of locking down Florida's probably the 2 lines that cause the most issues. When you think about what Sam Bennett wants to do, some of the other physical players on Florida, they want to keep you guessing. They want to keep you looking at what's going on. If you remember back to the first series that these 2 teams played a couple of years ago, and what Sam Bennett did to Matthew Knies, after he knocked him out of that series, it just kind of took the air out of the Leafs, and they were just looking over their shoulder the entire series, and they didn't want to go into the tough areas or anything across the ice or really play their game because they were just worried about what would happen. I think what's happening now is they're keeping Florida guessing. They're not being taken out of their game when Florida tries these little tricks of theirs to take them out of the game, and that's when Florida pounces. All of a sudden, Florida likes to play physical and take cheap shots and shoot pucks at goalies' heads. And then when they have you off your game and you're looking around and figuring when the next shot's going to come, that's when Matthew Tkachuk likes to play coy. That's when Barkov, Verhaeghe, and Reinhart just pounce on you. And next thing you know, you're down by 3. Or you're taking bad penalties, you're in the box, they score on the power play. I really like the Leafs games right now. They're playing physical when they need to. They're hitting back when they need to. I wouldn't even say the penalty that Holmberg took yesterday against Marchand was a bad one. I think that he kind of just leaned into him, caught his knee. It is what it is. but I still think that they're doing a great job of flipping the tables on Florida, and they have Florida guessing. And headed back to Sunrise, or whatever their arena's called now. I'm headed back to Florida. Paul Maurice is a Stanley Cup winning coach. Things are obviously going to get harder and more difficult. Obviously, the Leafs have to be prepared, but from what we've seen thus far in the playoffs, you have to like what you're seeing. So a shout out to Joel Wall. I think he played a steady game last night. I don't know what he could have done on Arkoff goal. Really couldn't do much about that one. The tying goal in the third period, the Florida player gets in behind Ekman Larson, and the puck goes past Benoit on the cross crease pass there. That's what Florida likes to do too, so they got to be mindful of that. But I also really think, I mentioned it in a couple of videos ago, that leaning on the information from Ekman Larson, Lorentz, and Stolarz about how Florida likes to play and probably what their game plan is against the Leafs has probably helped. Then you throw Brandon Carlo in there, and obviously it's going to give the Leafs a lot of information about what Marchand likes to do against the Leafs, which shouldn't be a surprise to anyone right now. And I think that helps as well. So you add in Berube's kind of unlocking this team, their potential, their game plan and structure. I just love what I'm seeing, and I'm sure everyone around Leafs Nation does too. But like I said, don't plan the parade yet. There's lots to go. Toronto fans, Leaf fans, you just got to think back, to times where this team has been up. But I've been saying it all year. They don't seem to unravel. They stick to their game. I love the fact that they're just dumping pucks at the net. A couple of years ago when they beat Tampa, I think Derek Lalonde, the former assistant coach of Tampa, he had mentioned on Sportsnet there that one of the ways to beat Tampa is to just dump pucks at Vasilevsky, get him moving. He can't really see around traffic sometimes. He gets frustrated. And I think you're seeing that with Florida right now, and the Leafs, kind of their game plan to get shots at the net, and it's really working. They've scored a few goals now just dumping pucks at the net. Mitch Marner's game winner yesterday. I don't think Mitch would have scored a goal like that in the past. The way he's playing, he's showing his dad strength. He's not backing down from those tough areas. And I just love it. Keep this up, Toronto. Let's keep the pressure on. Keep kind of playing this chess game with Florida. Keep them guessing. And I think things will turn out pretty good. What would be great is getting a split in Florida, coming back up 3-1. Again, that doesn't mean nothing. We've seen Florida, make a huge comeback against Boston just a couple of years ago. Obviously, their team was a little different, and they were playing with house money as the 8th seed. But let's keep going, Leafs, and let's try and close this one out, hopefully, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for all the support, especially on the last video. Continue to watch, and we'll talk again soon. Go Leafs, go!